This is the Kokomo Post Podcast. This is your number one source for all things Kokomo.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kokomo Post Podcast. I'm Pam, this is Erin, and we are so glad to have you with us again for our newly reimagined, reformatted podcast. Erin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Honestly, I feel like we're hitting a great stride with this podcast, and we took a little bit of a hiatus. You had been doing this podcast for just over 100 episodes, and we took a little bit of a break and kind of came back with a format that I think really highlights some people who are doing some great work in Kokomo. Kind of when I came on board, this idea about how do we celebrate and lift up people who are growing Kokomo and making it better, and sort of that piece of like celebrating people who are creating the kind of community that we want to live in.
Yeah.
And that is really sort of one of my guiding stars for the Kokomo Post. So this podcast is really all about getting to learn more about people who we really see as leading the way in making Kokomo into a better, stronger, more vibrant community. And I'm actually really just stoked about this episode because we have an amazing guest who brought beer. So that is incredible.
This is our first ever boozy podcast.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
First of many, I hope.
Yeah, and okay, we're about to introduce you, Kyle, but I want to add and just say, something that's important to me as we reimagine this podcast was our mantra here is making positivity louder. Mm-hmm. But we're thinking, well, how do we go about doing that without ignoring the complexities that are right here in our community, and also not being the rainbow puking unicorns as we have referred to ourselves as. So, this podcast is a little bit, it's real, and it's good conversation with great leaders.
I ordered a rainbow puking unicorn shirt, by the way, and it has not come in yet.
That's right.
I did. So I've got to look for it. But
track shipping. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are not alone in this room, as you can see. So I want to introduce to you Kyle Gibson. Kyle, I want you to introduce yourself, but Kyle is owner of the Coterie right here in Kokomo and many other things. You wear a lot of hats, my friend. Introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us about your story. Why Kokomo? Why are you here?
Why am I here? That's a good question.
Pick a question and answer
I'm Kyle Gibson, Kokomo Gibson. I own the Coterie, general manager of the Coterie. I don't really own that much stuff, though.
All right.
My brain and my ideas go towards events, Brews on Buckeye, Riverwalk Concert Series, stuff like that. That's just kind of my thing.
Okay.
I like throwing events. It all starts in a cornfield in Sharpsville. Went to college, hated college, quit college, traveled around and was a vagrant for a little bit and just kind of did my own thing and then came back to Kokomo.
Okay.
So when I came back to Kokomo, there's nothing to do and other cities were booming and bustling and I just felt like it was the time for change. So my big change was going to Hacienda and working.
Love it.
So that's not really an exciting story, but the more that I worked there, the more I fell in love with hospitality and bartending and throwing events.
Cool.
And then, I got picked off by the Social. Social came and stole me away from Hacienda, and that's where I met Dustin Ogle, which is my business partner now. We opened the Coterie 7 years ago and kind of infiltrated downtown.
Yeah.
With our scene, with our crowd and our guests, and now here we are 7 years later, and I feel like we've helped develop a cool culture.
Yeah, I agree. I think you've developed a cool culture, but what I love about what you just said was, you said it. Oh, there's nothing to do in Kokomo, but you didn't just say it.
Yeah.
You did something about it.
Yeah.
And I respect that and I appreciate that because no matter, pick a city. I'm from a city bigger than Kokomo. And there are many things to do. And it's like this universal complaint about people that they're like, if someone's not going to do something for me, I'm just going to complain. Yeah. And so I love that you didn't, what's that phrase? Like, don't just be about it.
Don't just talk about it, be about it.
Be about it.
Yeah.
And sit in my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks.
You're welcome.
Gosh, 7 years. The Coterie is 7 years
It'll
old.
be 7 years at the end of this year.
Wow. Man.
It's kind of crazy. But growing up, I lived in a cornfield, so we had to make our own fun.
Yeah.
We come to Kokomo, the big city.
Sure. Yeah.
And mingle with everybody and kind of see all the cool kids, and then I would go back to our cornfield.
Love
and
it.
Ride our four-wheelers and get in trouble and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Okay. So that's kind of just part of you is like innovation, figure it out, the attitude of like, there's nothing to do, so I'm going to make something to do.
Yeah. My parents never let me sit on my hands. They said, get out and do something. And if you're not doing something, you should be doing something. So never had time to sit around.
Love it. Okay. Well, before we go on, because we have more questions. Okay. But this is the first time we've ever drank on our podcast.
More than one question.
Okay, well, one question.
I'm out.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I'm out.
Good
having you.
I want you to talk us through what you brought. I want you to tell people what's in our cups. I'd also like to note we all have water in front of us, so health.
They think this.
Yeah.
Anyways, right now, I brought beers from breweries that are going to be a part of Brews on Buckeye, which is our craft beer festival, July 31st. So we've got Windmill IPA, we've got Hoosier Brewing Fruited Sour Ale, which tastes like a pie.
I love a sour.
Zeppelin from Burnham Brewing out of Michigan City, which is like a nice, cool amber red ale. Another fruited sour from Hoosier. And I think mango, coconut, cinnamon, brown sugar. And then right now we're trying a canned cocktail from West Fork Whiskey out of Indianapolis.
Right on. Come back every week. This is great.
So you busy next week?
What
planning large events?
What I love specifically sort of about what I've seen from your trajectory over these years, right, is like you have become this sort of, I don't know, just this low-key cheerleader for Kokomo, right? Like you, in the same way that I think we do here, but maybe in a different way, you get mad when you hear Kokomo's so boring.
I should have done that right here.
Oh, there you go. And again, I don't know. I mean, like, where does that come from? Talk to us about, why'd you stay in Kokomo? You could have gone anywhere. You could have taken sort of this attitude because you have built so much here between the Coterie and, I know other businesses you've been partially involved with, and then coming up with festivals and concert series and like the work behind putting together things like that is huge, right? So you could have taken that to a lot of other places. Why Kokomo? Why just stay?
That's a good question.
Thanks.
I traveled around. I went to Michigan. I'll travel in Indiana. I traveled around the whole East Coast with a band called Fish. I traveled and saw cities and saw bars and saw events, and then I come back to Kokomo and everybody's just kind of meh. So when there's an opportunity, I think you should take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that I could do a good job portraying the city for what I think it really is. And it's the city first. I feel like there's a lot of culture here that needs to be brought back from the time that, going as far back as the Indians being here. Mm-hmm. So I like having conversations with old schoolers that tell me that there's a spirit here that can't be broken, and it'll always be here, and there's a reason why all the Indians settled here. And I don't know, it's just in my brain, I stayed here because I love it. Mm-hmm. It's very centralized. I can get to Chicago, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, I can get to Louisville, and then it's not expensive to live here.
Yeah.
So lived in a couple places where my rent was all of the work I did. Mm-hmm. And here I feel like I can get a lot accomplished with $1. So.
Yeah, I think you and I maybe talked about this before. So I went to school in Buffalo. I was born and raised up in upstate New York. And I think Buffalo was a steel town in the same way Kokomo was a steel town. And I came from Buffalo. And quite honestly, like as we were coming up with the rundown for the show, there was so much of me coming here and saying like, man, why don't we have these big city things, right? Like I just shared with Pam, I said, hey, you know what we should have? Free live music in the park weekly. Why don't we have that? And I literally was this like 22-year-old like kid with a bad haircut going around to people trying to like raise enough money to.
You had a bad haircut?
I had
Kyle.
It was awful.
Now, you need to see the picture.
No,
also, I don't know why I was just so dramatic because in fairness, I didn't know you then. I've just seen the pictures.
It's so bad.
It was bad.
It was real bad.
It's
Was it a
spiky.
bowl cut? Oh.
No.
It's
no.
spikes and red.
And
Bright
There was some
red?
pink. Yeah, it was
like
awful.
IU red.
Punk rock?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how I got a job here. Covering government, right? Like, that was what they hired me for at the Tribune, was to
I got
cover.
a job here, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know how I got a job here.
No,
I mean,
business.
yeah, I know.
I know. Sleep that alone.
Yeah, no, I have no idea, but I came, and so then I started this entertainment section and started going around to people and saying, like, I don't understand. Every other city I've ever lived in, we had Thursdays in the Square
Something,
or
yeah.
whatever. And I truly, and then here's what I found. It's really hard to put on a weekly music festival for free for the community to allow people. There are not a lot of champions and supporters of that. Like, it's so much work, right? So my 23-year-old self drops this, doesn't go anywhere, right? And years later, yeah, I don't even think I said that. I said, like, it can't be done, right? Like, we couldn't do it in this town. I didn't have that sort of fortitude of, I'll figure it out. We'll get it done. We'll know, and so that's what I'm amazed at is, like, you're scrappy. Like, you're driven and scrappy, and you just keep going.
Consistently.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I like consistency, and I think I blame that on Dustin, my business partner. If you're going to do something, do it consistently. That way people know what to expect when they come. So consistently have a DJ, consistently have a band, consistently have a special, consistently be open, consistently be present, consistently do everything that you're about. So to me, that's key, is consistency.
Yeah.
So the more you do it, the more you drill it through people's heads, the more it'll happen and the more it'll come alive. Kind of just like speak it into existence, but do it into existence to where you know now that if you come downtown on the weekend, you're going to get a concert at the Coterie.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
If it's late night or if it's at the park or it's at Foster Park or Riverwalk, there will be some sort of live music or entertainment going on.
I like that.
So yeah, I just fight for what I think is right. Like the Beastie Boys said, fight for your right to party. Cheers.
Cheers.
What do you think about this beer, ladies?
I like this.
So this is standard American ale.
Yeah, I like
real
this.
Sweet hop or malty backbone. Super good.
So they'll be at Brews on Buckeye?
Yep. So
Okay.
Burnham's from Michigan City. They're good friends of mine.
Well, let's talk about Brews on Buckeye.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow I've either been out of town or pregnant for like several of the Brews on Buckeyes, right? So I'm excited because
This year?
yeah, and I will be not with child, and so that's great. So, tell us, how did that come to be? I mean, because you went, I remember being there that first year, and it was, I mean, you went from nothing to like, this is a legitimate big deal, and it's just, it seems like it's, from what I've seen, continued to grow. Where'd it come from?
Well, we had the Coterie. We really wanted to do craft beer correctly, and we were building the Coterie, and we were driving down Buckeye Street. I think we were going to Menards or somewhere. And I was just like, this is a cool street. This is before Fade. This is before
Oh, wow.
anything was, maybe Fade was there. I think maybe Fade was there, but Tin Man wasn't there. Nothing was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just started looking into how to throw a beer festival like I had been to before. And I thought it was a good way to get people interested in local breweries, and also a way to show off what we were doing in Kokomo so that we could work with these breweries as well. And now it's turned into a whole, I don't even know what
It's
to call
a
it.
thing.
Block party,
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Like it's craft beer and liquor, local liquor, DJ, dancing, fun. It's just, I have some tricks up my sleeve for this year. So.
All right.
Can you spill any of them? Or can you tell us?
Not really. I don't want to. I don't think that'll be
Nah.
fair.
All right. We'll
Okay,
take that.
fine.
We'll take that.
Just, I've never done this before. And when it does happen, everybody's going to have a great time.
Okay, so we
Okay.
need to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, tell
It
us
could be
when it
so
is.
many things.
Have you been, Pam?
No, because I'm either out of town or pregnant. What day is it?
What's up with you guys? I've
Well-
never been pregnant.
You should try it. It's a blast.
try it.
Let me tell you.
No.
It's great.
Let me tell you. Do you really like being ill and vomiting every day for, I don't know,
That
like,
wasn't my experience,
Like
but
being
you just
hungover
can't
for
drink
9
alcohol.
yeah.
So
Yeah, feeling like you're hungover for 9 months at a time?
I have
Like-
a feeling it's
Yeah.
on a day when I'm out of town. And
Seriously?
I'm not even kidding.
31st, Saturday. I marked you off the calendar already.
Yeah.
I told you. That's fine.
Noted.
Noted.
Well, let me see.
We're going to have to change the date. Pam can't come. Can you move it?
Can you like move it?
Here's a fact that not many people know. So it's usually the first Saturday of August. So it's usually the first Saturday of August. This year, Fish is playing at Deer Creek the first Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So I moved it the week before because I'm selfish.
Okay. Well, that scoop I will take. No, I have. All right.
Cancel your family reunion or whatever. Where are your priorities?
My cousin's graduation party.
Oh, that sounds boring.
High school graduation, college graduation.
High school.
He'll never remember. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Sorry, Pam's cousin.
Sorry, Ann.
She won't be there.
Brews on Buckeye has evolved over the years. I understand you won't tell us. We have to show up if we want to experience this, but I feel like every year gets a little bit bigger.
Right. And so, if somebody hasn't come before, give us the high level, the skinny on it. If somebody like Pam has been pregnant or
out of town.
So you show up, you pay a ticket cost, you get a glass, and then you walk around to the breweries, and they give you samples of whatever beer you want. Mm-hmm. So you get to try beers that you've never tried. You get to try beers you might not want to spend money on at the bar because you get a full beer. So you just try to sample it, and you can dump it if you don't like it. You can drink it if you do like it. I suggest you just drink every one of them.
Yeah.
And then we've got distilleries for people that don't drink beer. You can buy a cocktail. You can sample bourbon, gin, vodka, rum. I have a tequila guy there this year, so we have tequila.
Really? Cool. Is it local?
Yeah, so there's a guy in Lafayette, Desnuda Tequila.
Really?
And he imported and branded his own tequila.
Okay.
And they'll be there sampling out their product. And so it's a local company that brought it in.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So it's not, you don't have to be a beer lover.
No.
There's something for everyone.
Well, and I will honestly also say, I think I have gone before when I was pregnant and just walked around and was the DD. And there's nothing like walking around a wine or a beer tasting when you're pregnant. I went to Vegas when I was pregnant too, somehow. Like, I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, again, I was the designated everything.
Well, but there's some great food.
We walked around we went to the Grand Canyon. We walked around the edge of the Grand Canyon. Pregnant.
God love.
We did a lot of things.
Okay, so we've talked about
one of those.
We've talked about how you love Kokomo, Kyle, but I want to ask you about your perspective, because you are this like edgy, scrappy cheerleader. Like, I don't.
That's accurate.
With a great respect.
I look great in a skirt too, by the way. Just to let you know.
Noted.
Prove it.
Pictures, or it didn't happen.
You know, like, I don't know that who knows? Maybe you someday will work at Visit Kokomo. But I think like you cheer for Kokomo, but you do it your way. So I'd love to hear your perspective on how have you seen Kokomo change, evolve, grow over the years, maybe specifically the last decade. How have you changed over the last decade? What are your thoughts? Like, has it been have there been good changes? Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say yes. The Coterie being a downtown staple for the last 7 years has been certainly an awesome thing. But a lot of other things have happened. So, what do you think?
I just think the overall mentality of Kokomo has changed over the course of the past, I would say, 10 years, for sure.
Yeah, last decade.
Let's see, 10 years ago I was 27. I don't really remember much of my mid-20s.
Same.
You know what I mean? So, how's the city changed? I think it's become more inviting. It's not just a blue-collar city anymore. It's not just you work at Chrysler and that's it. Mm-hmm. It has other jobs. It has technology jobs. We're getting there with the hospitality industry, with having breweries and cool restaurants and cool bars around town. It's evolving like it should. Yeah, I've always heard Kokomo's 10 years behind any other city. So 10 years behind Indianapolis and 10 years behind Chicago. I think we're catching up. I don't think that we're going to be the forefront of anything crazy. but I think we can at least put our hat in the ring.
But I think we're seeing more and more of sort of that scrappy, don't mess with my city, because I feel like you have a lot of love and pride and protectiveness over Kokomo, right? Like, even though it's flawed, and even though there are places where we know that there can be continued growth, I think what I've seen is you really do have a protective love of Kokomo, and don't mess with it. And that's always resonated with me on coming from Buffalo, because people from Buffalo are proud.
You guys jump through tables.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo people are...
You're proud of your city.
Yes.
I would jump through a table for Kokomo.
Absolutely, right? And don't talk about, Buffalo being a terrible... And I feel like we're seeing more and more of that for people who have sort of this pride of place and who take care of and who fight for their city. And I've sort of recognized that in you and in the Ogles, and, I feel like we're seeing more and more of that, of people who are sort of stepping up and defending and protecting the city in their own way, which I think is cool.
I don't want to talk crap about the older people, but they were very stuck in their ways. They wanted stuff their way. They wanted to go to Chrysler. They wanted to go home. They wanted to eat Outback and Applebee's. No offense to either one of those places, but that's not what I want to do. I want you to eat locally.
Yeah.
I want you to go to work at a local shop or start your own shop and do what you love and make the city something special.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like Kokomo. It's neat.
Yeah.
I'm a transplant too, and
neat. We're gonna make that. We're gonna make that shirt limited time run.
Period. I would say I'm also a transplant, and I come from a place that I don't know has much pride.
Okay.
I love you, Naperville, but that's another podcast for another time.
Chicago.
Yeah, it's a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I would say this, the pride is contagious, because I'm when someone says something about Kokomo, I'm yeah. I feel I'm a part of this community. This is where we're putting down roots. This is it. And so I like what you're saying, because I agree, and I love being a part of this. I mean, some older people are this way, but I hear what you're saying. But this part of I want to make an effort to be local, to eat local, to hang out. If I have to choose between this place and this place, I want to go to the local place because my friend owns it.
Right, and I remember, I don't know if that's just inbuilt from the people that I hung out with in Syracuse and in Buffalo, or if that's part of the culture or part of our family. But there was a local coffee shop directly on the opposite corner of a Starbucks, right? Sure. And I mean, we couldn't be caught dead, no offense to Starbucks, right? But we couldn't be caught dead. That felt like such a corporate America sort of a piece. And Spot Coffee was this little local coffee shop that, I distinctly remember being a teenager and vowing, my New Year's resolution was that I would spend all of my money for the next year at a local shop. And
that was just your New Year's resolution as a teenager?
Yeah, as a 19-year-old kid.
That's a good resolution.
Yeah, right. And so that was just part of, but I also think it was part of my friend group. It was cool, right? But it was also what I was surrounded with. And so that's where I feel like you sort of coming onto the scene and normalizing, it just being part of what we do. Yeah. Normalize being nice is what his hat says mostly.
Nice, right?
Normalize being nice.
Right.
It's funny you speak of coffee shop, because remember Virtual Grind? I don't know, were you here?
Vaguely. I remember the name. I don't know how.
It was a coffee shop that did live music, and it was an internet cafe, so you could go and log in and download all your Napster music.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to wait for your parents.
Internet cafe.
It was so weird, right? So I remember that, and then I got my hospitality start in a coffee shop in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Okay.
Called Django's, and we did live music, we did food, we did coffee.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the sort of the precursor, I feel like, to a lot of what's happening in downtown Kokomo was the Scambrews place there, Vincenzo's coffee place in Sycamore Marketplace. Yeah, and they were doing
regular there.
Same, right? They were doing live music. They were doing good local coffee. Eventually, they had craft beers. They had ice cream. They had stained glass windows. I mean, they had all sorts of stuff, and I think they had some pottery in the basement. And I feel like that was sort of the purveyor to a lot of sort of the modernizing and what we've seen grow and blossom in downtown Kokomo.
So I want to talk more about live music because I've heard you say now multiple points in your story, like live music is a part of it. So a couple questions. One, are you a musician yourself?
No, I can pick up a guitar and play a couple chords, but there's no way I would call myself a musician. I can't.
Okay.
I can sing to myself.
Okay.
I think I'm a good singer, but
right.
no one else thinks I'm a good singer.
Well, they're entitled to their...
Prove it.
I'm not singing.
So prove it. But I want to hear, like, because the live music that you bring to Kokomo, if you haven't been to the Coterie or you haven't been to a Riverwalk Concert Series, you know, we have a lot of great local artists. We have a lot of great local music, and that scene is just, I feel like it's just getting started. It's growing. It's really exciting. But
Thank you, Realm Academy.
yes, thank you,
right.
Realm Academy. But some of the bands that you bring in, some of the artists you bring in, they're from Indy, they're from Chicago,
Nashville, yeah.
Talk to us about how do you find them? How do you get them here? And one of the things I love is that it's never the same. It's like, the Coterie, you know, it's going to be jazz.
Yeah.
Like on any given weekend, it's different. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so like this weekend, we have live jazz, dirty blues on Friday, and then Saturday we have Aaron Lee Tazjan, which is a nationally touring act.
Right.
With a guy opening and a group of guys opening for him from Logansport. But booking for me, I find bands online. I go to local shows. I find their contact information. I message them. I email them. I call them. I let them know I'm interested, and I have a place for them to come play, and I'll pay them American dollars to come play. It's been a long, hard road for me to get in contact with a lot of these people, but now it's like my email box is full of bands and people that want to come play.
Very cool.
Like I said, just the consistency in building that culture of having a live venue where people can come and have fun and they can play whatever they want. They can play loud, they can play light, they can play originals, they can play covers, they can do whatever they want in our space and feel comfortable. And all the people that come and see us expect original, awesome music all the time, and I try to achieve that every week.
Well, and I think that's sort of a good segue into Riverwalk Concert Series, right? I mean, like, what an incredible thing this sort of gift you've given our city.
That was a happy accident, actually.
Okay, tell us that story.
The whole series was?
Yeah, actually it was.
Say more.
So, what is it called? What is my bike ride called? The Lords of Social Distancing.
Yeah.
We started doing that during quarantine. Because we couldn't be all together in one place, so we figured we might as well ride a bike. I don't see how anybody can get sick riding a bike 6 feet away from each other or something.
Sure.
So the first time I rode my bike from the Coterie on the trail, we passed behind the Foxes Trail, and I looked down and I saw that little pavilion.
Yeah.
And so we went all the way to Monterey, and in my head, I just kept on thinking, why is that there? Why is there a whole pavilion that no one's ever used? So on the way back, I drove my bike down there and just stood there, and I said, man, I need to throw a concert here. So I texted the Parks Department, Tori at the Parks Department, and let them know what I wanted to do. And the city let me have that pavilion for last summer, and I think we've built something really neat.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay. They're just like, do it.
Yeah, they kind of had some questions about what to expect and stuff. But I think in the long run of things, I think it's a really cool event, and it brings people from all over. The next one's the 17th, which I think this will air after that.
Yeah.
But it's a band from Michigan. I can't remember when the next one is after that, though. That's escaping me.
And similar...
August 1st.
And we'll make sure we put it in the show notes for this as well.
I think it's August 1st or August 2nd.
And similar to, different, but similar to how you book the Coterie in that there's not a theme to this. It's not show up every Saturday for country music. Like these artists that you're bringing in, they all have their own interpretation of music, style. Yeah, je ne sais quoi.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what
it sounded good. It sounded like it flew to me.
You think that's what it means?
That's the joke, right?
Je ne sais quoi. I like that beer, ladies.
Tell me what it is.
This I like. This is cheers.
a West
Yeah, this
Coast
is an IPA.
called Memory Leak from Windmill Brewing out of
This
Dyer.
I really like.
Yeah, so you like IPAs? You like
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
This I marginally like. I don't like. Generally, IPAs taste like Lemon Pledge to me. I hate them so much. And this is palatable. I do like it.
That's a West Coast IPA.
Okay, what's the difference?
It's going to be more piney and bitter.
Okay.
East Coast IPA is going to be a little bit sweeter and a little bit chewier.
Give me less sweet.
I don't know what a chewy beer means.
It's the mouthfeel. I hate that word. It's just a weird word, mouthfeel.
You sound like a judge on Chopped right now.
Yeah, right. That's why I don't like it. But it's just a texture. Like this is really light tasting, and it goes down really smooth. They're a little bit more creamier.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And East Coast is. Yeah, I like this in general.
Yep.
Less sweet, more bitter for me. That's my
Next ones are
life.
sweet. The next ones are sweet and sour at the same time, like Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, I love a sour. I'm so excited.
Okay,
What else
hang
we
on.
talking
Let me.
So many things. Well, you know what I really want to know, though, honestly, is like, again, this is going with like, we're not rainbow puking unicorns, right? Like, you've been really successful. You have all these places that are, killing it. But it's also, I suspect, been hard, right? So like, looking back on it, what's been hard about doing what you have done between, launching and really successfully owning and operating this, crazy craft beer and cocktail bar, and also, creating a festival and creating, live music.
Thick with two C's.
It's very,
Very thick.
sure is.
Here, let me give me some of that thickness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you like sours. The challenges. Really?
And where's this from, by the way? This is
from Hoosier Brewing out of Greenwood.
okay.
It's really
Oh, so they're south of Indy. I'm sorry, just to backtrack
you're
us a
good.
little bit. The IPA, you said they're out of Dyer?
Yeah, so Dyer.
Okay, so up
where
north.
you were-
Yeah. My dad's from that area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, challenges for me, honestly, has just been to try to be true to myself and to make time for my family and my kids. That's the hardest part.
Okay.
I have to give a big shout out to my wife, my girlfriend. She will be my wife one day, whatever. If you're listening.
You heard it here.
Yeah, she takes care of me and my household and everyone else, and that's way more important to me than in the challenging area.
Yeah.
To take care of that kind of stuff. The rest of it, I just kind of comes naturally.
So where do you find that balance, right? Like,
I don't. She does.
Okay.
So does she kind of keep you in line? Or would she be like, hey,
100%.
hey, this afternoon we're doing this with the kids, or
Yes.
like, hey, you
Because-
should sleep.
Yes.
What I've seen about people who are crazy passionate about whatever it is, right? Like, and I've seen it a lot in the nonprofit world, is that like, it becomes your like, the place where you are driving, and it becomes kind of all consuming. And I don't know if you sort of feel that or have that, but in my experience, because I've done this with stuff that like I'm crazy passionate about. When I was working for the Y, I was like a psycho. I mean, I really loved and eat, breathe, sleep, and it would almost compete with family.
Yep.
Sure.
Right?
For
Like
sure.
it became
matters to you.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, I truly and dearly loved that work, and it was important, it mattered. And there were times when Drew had to sort of pull me back and say like, hey, let's right size your priorities on what is going to be lasting and what's going to matter, right?
And I'm sure you've done that for him too, though. When
Yeah.
he gets in those zones too.
Yeah.
And that's where she's the manager at Fired Art Studios out here, and so she's been working her tail off. I've been working my tail off with the remodel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we've got a 14-year-old and a 5-year-old that still need time and attention. And,
Yeah.
that's the biggest challenge for me, honestly. Though the rest of it I can figure out. I can Google things.
Yeah.
And I can talk to people that have done it before me. But for the most part, like the most challenging part is trying to take my time with life a little bit.
That resonates with me just a ton, right?
Yeah.
On like, how do you find that balance? I mean,
It's hard. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 weeks in a row of not doing anything with the kids and just being present at home and making sure everything's good. But then like we took Sunday and Monday. We came back Tuesday, went to the beach in Michigan City and relaxed and didn't do anything. Didn't worry about work. I didn't answer emails. I didn't answer phone calls. I just just relaxed with the kids and let them do whatever they wanted. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
So
I don't know about this one.
Oh, I haven't tried it yet.
It reminds me of something. This is supposed to be like Thai sticky rice inspired sour.
This is like juicy. It has like
it
juice
tastes a bit like a cocktail. It feels
Mango,
like
brown sugar, cinnamon,
coconut.
Which
Erin's allergic to coconut.
It's fine. That'll be my one step. I'm cool. Like if I pass out, one of you guys know CPR, right?
Maybe.
It's 30 compressions and 2 breaths. It's fine.
I just know from The Office that staying alive. Yeah, that's really interesting. This drink.
Yeah. If it didn't have coconut, sour. I would continue drinking them.
So we talked about.
Are you getting red?
I never drink. Like that's. I mean, like literally never.
Me neither. Yeah. That's real weird.
Okay, we talked about challenges. I really liked your answer.
That's the first lie today.
But you are a creator. You described kind of the birth of one of the ideas for the Riverwalk, but I want to hear where do your ideas come from? Because you're very creative and you are a creator, meaning like you have the idea and then you make it happen. Yeah, you're not. That's my observation. Yeah. But I'd love to hear, because
I like how we're getting like all of our observations just in general. Like, well, Kyle, I've been watching you from afar for a long time.
We just are our Facebook friends, so we know you.
I feel like that's how everybody knows a lot of people.
Right.
I'd love to hear like how you mentioned the renovation. So explain that to us and talk about like how do you know when it's time to make a change or to use what you just said to make a pivot, to move forward, or maybe it's a project that's not working and so it's time to close it down and do a new thing. But like, talk to us specifically about this Coterie expansion because I'm personally very excited.
So we had the Sycamore Social Club because Dustin and I both know how to run a nightclub pretty well. And I think it was open for 3 years. I think. Maybe. And it just got to the point where Dustin and I had to be there. I mean,
all the time.
Very successful. We had people there. I mean, we had more people than we could hold in our building.
Wow.
Constantly. So it came to a crossroads where it was like, where do we want to spend more of our time and our energy? Do we want to focus on this kind of crowd or do we want to focus on another kind of crowd? Nightclub life is really hard. I mean, it is at work early, stay late, and you never know what to expect.
Sure.
You can't depend on other people to act properly. You can't depend on other people to do your job for you. So you have to be there physically and mentally every night that we were open. And it got really hard because upstairs and the Coterie was busy, downstairs was busy, and there's that whole life-work balance was a big thing for us.
And you think that
had a lot to do with why we shut down the Coterie, or shut down the Sycamore Social Club.
I mean, we talked about it, a little bit when we were kind of discussing the show. I mean, your priorities, how you attack things, how you prioritize things when you're 22, 25 is really different than how you do when you have, kids that you're raising and when you're, in your 30s, right? Like, so I don't know. I guess I'm interested in you sort of looking back at like what's different now than when you guys were doing the social together way back on
social. I was younger. I was way younger. I had more time. I had one kid back then. So I was trying to think when the Coterie or when the social opened.
I mean,
7 years at the Coterie, so it would have been 7 years. It would have been 6 years there.
Wow.
Because I've been in Kokomo now almost 17 years, which is crazy, right? And I was really pretty young when the OG social out on Markland.
Yeah, I started there.
Okay.
And then helped build the new place.
Yeah.
And then started managing there.
Yeah.
Where was that on Markland? Because I wasn't here.
It's torn down now, but it's where Bar Blue was, right?
Yeah. You remember Bar Blue? Was that Park? No, it's not Park.
Yeah, Markland and Park there,
Park.
over by the big Markland and Park
Yeah,
buildings.
got it. Okay,
Now
I'm
where
with
the
you.
gas station is.
Yes, it's not.
I sound like
gas
like
station too.
old time in
Nathan's
Kokomo.
Hot dogs.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, but between then and now, I like to sleep a lot more than I did back then.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't drink like I did back then. I have more priorities now.
Yeah.
I have bigger goals. I have more opportunities. I have 2 children and a wife that depend on me.
And I think your
more
perspective is different.
More than what I had to do back then. I was just
Sure.
worried about myself, and
Yeah.
I was very selfish. So that's changed a huge amount.
So you just mentioned goals.
Mm-hmm.
Are those things that you could talk about?
Goals for me?
Yeah. I
don't-
mean,
so
personally
the
or
weird-
business goals.
The
Yeah.
weird thing about myself is I set goals, but I set short-term goals because they're very attainable. Long-term
Yeah.
goals I really don't set until like I achieve my short-term goals.
Okay.
So my short-term goal currently is to get the downstairs open, full kitchen going.
Awesome.
Reestablish a full kitchen and full restaurant type vibe. What's that?
Front door. We just got to know if there's any burglars. It's good. It's fine.
Burglars.
Burglars.
Thieves.
Stop my throat.
Yeah, talk
But
about full kitchen.
short-term goal, full kitchen. I want to get back to cooking. I really am passionate about cooking.
Yep.
It's my safe space. It's my space where I know I can do awesome things. Just like bartending. I'm a really good bartender, but right now I really want to cook food. I've bartended for way too long. I want to get back in a kitchen, make cool food with some cool people. So that's my short-term goal. Adding on to that, long-term goal would be open for lunch throughout the week and every day, and then a food truck.
Okay,
Yes.
so I want to hear a lot more about being open for lunch. But no, I want to ask you, you mentioned making cool food with cool people.
Yep.
So something to me that really sets the Coterie apart is the quality that I see, that I've experienced, and the quality that feels like it matters a lot to you.
Yeah.
And with respect, I think maybe you're the only place in Kokomo doing that with that great attention to detail for quality with craft cocktails. Why do you do that, and why does that matter to you? Because I've also seen it translated to the food that we've had from you.
I don't know how to explain that. I just think that quality is quality. I just want a good product at the end of the day. Like you can go anywhere else and get a Crown and Coke or a Jack and Coke or anything like that, and to have a really good old fashioned with the proper tools and stirred and a big rock and a properly peeled lemon and simple syrup, properly peeled orange and simple syrup. Yeah, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're going back and taking pride in bartending like it was before. I mean, we're a classically trained cocktail bar, so we take that very seriously. And then when Brent came and joined me at the Coterie, he was a bar back for a while, and we were serving burgers and some other type stuff, and he was really adamant about doing some really good burgers. And I said, well, let's look into it. So him and I delved into like burger history, about how we can make burgers really good, how people made them before we did, and then putting our spin on them and doing some of the crazier kind of stuff that we do, but at the same time, like still holding true to the classic stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what I've seen that I like so much
You put
is
good stuff in, you get good stuff out.
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Well, and it seems like you use as much, local products and collaborate with other people. I know I've seen you before use, local bakery bread, things like that.
Stoney's.
Yeah.
Stoney's.
Yeah. And I love that because I feel like it's just another layer sort of that fight for Kokomo.
No coconut, or no coconut.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
coconut.
Sweet. Yeah, like I don't know, that to me just feels really on brand for you, because it's, hey, what's one more way that we can support this community? What's one more way that we can show people that there's great stuff happening here?
Work together.
Yeah.
more water in the harbor makes all the boats rise.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great saying.
I like to work with people that support us, and we support the people that support us.
Yeah, I love
At the
that.
end of the day, I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to do their own thing and be very successful. If you need help with cocktails, I will help. If you need help with some food, we'll help. If we need help with something, I'll ask you. Like, let's help each other out.
Yeah, completely.
Kyle, if someone were to ask you,
Why, yes.
like is it the right time to say your name, if someone were to ask you for advice,
Oh, that's good.
what advice would you give?
Oh, I like that.
And this is, answer how you want to. This could be Kokomo advice. This could be life advice. This could be family advice.
Oh, yeah. That's really good.
Be yourself, and be yourself as hard as you can. Figure out what you love in this world and let it kill you. That's it. That's all I got.
I like it.
I like that a lot.
I don't know how else to. It's really kind of a cliche term, but that's how I live. Yeah. Do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life. All those things.
Okay.
Je ne sais quoi. Carpe diem does not mean soup of the day. We can do it for days.
All right. Well, as we kind of land the plane here, this podcast, we have 2 signature questions.
Important
that we
ones.
ask.
Land the plane.
You like
My
that?
plane's just taking off, Pam.
Okay. 2 questions that we ask every guest.
Yep.
First question. Fast forward very far ahead in your life.
Okay.
You have one last meal in Kokomo. What are you ordering?
From Kokomo?
From Kokomo.
In Kokomo.
Anywhere in Kokomo.
3 Louis Bakes with cheese, feta fries with tzatziki, and a bottle of Coke.
All
A
right.
bottle of Coke.
Bottle of Coke.
Plastic or glass?
Glass.
Okay.
Glass.
Good
I
answer.
love that.
That is. If anybody asks me where to eat in Kokomo, I tell them to go to Louis because I've never had a bake anywhere else in this world, and it's kind of one of those things. I don't know if anybody else does that. I've had
don't
Mexican,
think they
we've
do.
had Thai, we've had Indian, we've had those all over the place. But Louis Bakes, I've never seen one. Never seen them before anywhere else.
Good
and it's
answer.
kind
Love
of
it.
crazy to me.
Like feta fries are so good, too.
Oh, the feta
Unless
fries.
it's my hungover food. If I'm really hungover and they're open, 3 bakes with cheese, feta fries with tzatziki, and a bottle of Coke, and then go home and go to bed.
So August 1st, that's where we'll see you.
They're not open on Sunday. And if anybody from Louis is listening, if you would just please serve bakes at Brews on Buckeye, I would love you.
Tula,
Really.
are you watching?
Do you have any
I've
food
asked
vendors?
you so many times to please just do it.
Are there any food vendors?
Yeah, so Oscar's Pizza is going to be serving food.
okay.
Great.
The new food truck in town, the Struggle Bus, will be set up, and then we will
Cool.
also be serving burgers.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome.
It's been a weird time for food trucks to travel out. They're kind of all in their little things.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Yeah.
I really want a food truck.
But Struggle Buses, they're brand new and they're sort of a modern comfort food, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. I'm excited to get to try them.
And Wesley used to work for me at halftime, so
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, that's awesome.
he's a good guy.
Well, I would. Last question is for you. What does a stronger, better Kokomo look like?
What does a stronger, better Kokomo look like? That's a good question.
Thanks.
I don't think I had any notes on that one either. Man, I really don't know. I take it as it goes. 10 years ago, if you would have asked me this question, I would have probably not known either. I would have said there needs to be more music, there needs to be more positivity, which I think happens. So let's just go back 10 years from now. I want there to be more places where you can get quality drinks and quality entertainment. I think that the jobs here in town will kind of take off because our infrastructure and our people in this town really want to see things pushed forward right now, and I don't think there's anything going to stop us from moving forward. What else? I don't know. I think we're on the right path, so it's really hard for me to see how that looks in the near future. I would just say raise your kids to do better. Teach yourself to do better. Teach those people around you to do better, and everything else will get better. I don't really know how to put the whole better and stronger into a picture.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
No, I think you did a great job, and I think, for me, that's hitting what I feel like right on the head on we've had such growth in the time that I've been here. Like, right? How do we continue doing this? And I'm excited for what does Kokomo look like in, if I've been here 17 years, what does it look like in another 17 years?
10 years, did you imagine what we're doing now?
No.
And to me,
I mean, you think of downtown in...
This whole conversation has really like struck a chord with me with that whole like 10 years ago, what was I doing? What was the city doing?
Yeah.
Where everything is now. And it's completely changed.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, if everything completely changes again in the same direction, look out.
Yeah, and I mean...
Not only will my daughter be old enough to run my business, my son will be 15.
But I think it's been hard work, right? Like if we look back at these last 10 years and you can look at your businesses and all the places that you've grown, there's hard work and there's sacrifice in it, but it's so worth it. Mm-hmm. It's so worth it.
Yeah, and I like how you describe better, like, you know, there's some big picture thinking, and when we look 10 years ago, we can see things in hindsight. Hang on, let me flag. Do you think it's a problem that we don't see the monitor?
I think the monitor ran out of batteries. The monitor is not plugged into the main power supply.
It got really black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me...
I noticed that it was shrinking in. And I was like, either we're dying or the battery.
No, the camera is into the wall.
Good.
Yeah.
Got it.
The monitor's battery dead.
Some of what you said, Kyle, that I think is really a tangible takeaway is like, do better like today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when 10 years from now is 10 years from now, and we can look back and see the growth or see the change or whatever. But what we can do right now today is, you know, be nice.
Be nice.
Make one step. Like I loved
1% better every day.
Yeah, 1% better every day. Jake, clear. Like your example of the bike ride and the idea. Yeah. Like, what did you do first? Step one: send a text.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like send that text,
and
then now there's 1,000 other steps that follow. But I think that's great. Yeah, gosh, 17 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
You've been here 10 years?
I've been here since, we moved back up to Howard County in 2010. So 11 years.
Nice.
11 years.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. Well, Kyle, thank you.
Do I have anything else to say?
Well, do you? Do you have anything else to say?
The mic is yours.
I just thank you guys for spreading positivity and doing what you do for this town too, because without you guys, there would not be a cool media outlet.
You think we're cool?
Erin,
the cool guy, thinks we're cool.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that.
Thanks for drinking too.
Well, cheers.
I told you that was the one thing I had to have.
That was Kyle's stipulation when we invited him. I'm excited for Brews on Buckeye. We will have all that information in the show notes so you can check it out. You can be there. But Kyle, we appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And Kokomo, be sure that you're keeping an eye on all things Kokomo Post. We will see you next time.
Keep it weird.